Hi guys, this is the first sports psychology screencast since your induction to AT, and what I want to talk about is 3 different personality theories that underpin everything you need to know about personality, which is the first section of your work before your initial assessment. So you're going to need to go over this as per usual, make decent notes and bring this to class, because then we're going to explore these theories in more detail. Okay, personality itself consists of 3 theories as to how people or why people behave in certain ways. Why are individuals a certain type of personality, and ultimately how does this affect their sporting performance? So essentially what we have are these 3 theories, which are what we call trait perspective, social learning perspective, and what the last one introduced by Hollander called the Interactionist approach. So these are the 3 you'll need to have really good knowledge on for your final exam in summer 2013, which seems a long way off now, but these theories sort of cut across other aspects of A2PE, so it's important that you get to grips with them early enough. Okay, we'll start off with trait perspective, and this suggests that an individual's personality, so if we take a boxer such as shown in the picture, it suggests that the reason somebody might be naturally aggressive as a personality is possibly because you've inherited that personality from your parents' genes. So that's what the trait perspective suggests. So I'm aggressive because my mum and my dad were aggressive, or I'm quite placid because my dad was placid. This behaviour within trait perspective is exactly like ability. When you talked about ability in ASPE, it is innate, stable and enduring. That means it happens all the time. It's very difficult to change, which is when we talk about stability and enduring. So if I'm naturally aggressive, trait perspective theory suggests that it's very difficult to change my naturally aggressive attitude. And finally, individuals are born with these characteristics. If we wanted to teach aggression, it'd be quite difficult to do that to a placid individual or someone who's quite shy. It's very difficult, and trait perspective backs that argument. Whereas if you naturally got some sort of aggression, it carries through within your sporting performance. So it's very natural, genetic, comes from outside factors. That's trait perspective in a nutshell. Boxing is a great example of that. To be good at boxing, you might need some natural aggression within your personality features. Okay, the second perspective is the opposing perspective to trait perspective, and is what we call social learning perspective. So if you remember social learning theory and Bandura from ASPE, it's very similar to that. So instead of everything coming from genetics and coming from your dad or your mum, this theory says that whatever behaviour you adopt as your personality, you have learnt it from someone or something. Okay, so all your behaviour is learned. So if you're naturally aggressive, it's because you've learnt to be aggressive from your environment, from your friends, from your peers, from the media, from what you watch of others. And as I just suggested, all your learning within your own life to create your personality comes through an environmental experience. So if you're put in a class full of nice, well-mannered individuals, you yourself, your personality might become more well-mannered because you're in an environment that controls that. However, if you're put into an aggressive environment, it might be a sink or swim environment. If you look at prisons, for example, you yourself might have to become aggressive as a personality in order to survive that environment, and therefore your learning has developed through your environmental experience. The key thing with social learning perspective is that you can only learn something if it is socially reinforced. So we've got a picture of Ronaldo here with some orange boots. Now let's say on a Saturday afternoon Ronaldo plays in his orange boots for Real Madrid, and on Sunday some 5 or 6 year olds go down the park and one of them is wearing orange boots, so he has copied Ronaldo. Okay, for him to learn that situation, that copying Ronaldo is good, it will require his fellow friends to socially reinforce that. So they might say, oh bloody hell, look at those lovely orange boots. That's a form of social reinforcement. The other kids are getting excited because that child is now wearing orange boots, looks like Ronaldo, is trying to play like Ronaldo, so he's probably going to do that again because he gets a bit of a kick out of his mates all egging him on or being excited at the fact he's got orange boots. So that's being socially reinforced, and that's what we mean by that. You cannot learn anything unless it's socially reinforced. If something isn't socially reinforced, you're not likely to do it again, 9 times out of 10. Okay, so there are two main theories of personality. Now Hollander suggests that personality doesn't always work in one box or the other box, and sometimes it's a combination of a couple of things, and that's what we call an interactionist approach. And he suggested that personality has 3 levels that work together to form what personality that person adopts. Okay, and essentially, in a nutshell, it combines trait perspective, so genetics, and social learning perspective, so learning from the environment, which is socially reinforced, together. And he created sort of this 3-layered response. So at the base you have what's called the psychological core. Now that relates to trait perspective. So that is what you are like typically on a normal day without any sort of environmental influences. So it could be that you are naturally aggressive, you are naturally quite shy, you are naturally quite boring as a person. That will be your psychological core. Typical response, which is the second layer up in green, is when something happens, does your personality change? Okay, so for example, if I'm naturally quite shy as my psychological core, the red bit, yet when I play football my typical response might be to get a bit aggressive, because when somebody else has the ball I need to get a bit aggressive to go and get it back. So my personality has changed in the typical response section as opposed to psychological core section. On top of that, your personality could change again, Hollander suggests, due to your role related behaviour, which is the yellow box. So let's go back to the start. So my psychological core is I'm quite a shy, introverted person, quite nervous. I go into a game of football and I become a lot more aggressive, which is my typical response because I'm after the ball, want to get competitive. However, the coach then decides that I should become the captain of the team. So my personality might change again. So my role related behaviour, the bit in yellow, suggests that I might be a little bit more caring and understanding to my teammates in that situation. So my personality has adapted because of my role as a captain. Good example of this is someone like Sir Chris Hoy. So Chris Hoy, if you've ever seen him interviewed, he's a very kind, relaxed, introverted character. Not necessarily quite shy, but he keeps himself to himself. So in picture A, that is his psychological core, so it matches up to the red box. However, when put in a race, one of his sprint races, as you might have seen in the Olympics, his typical response in the green section would to become quite competitive. He becomes very extrovert. So from being a shy character or an introvert in box A, he's become very competitive. His personality has changed. And this year, in the Olympics, he was asked to take the flag and become captain of the British Olympic team. And so therefore his role has changed. He's seen as an ambassador. He has to become more responsible to the other individuals within the camp. He might go and look after some of the newer, younger athletes. So his personality has to adapt again. So this is a very good example of how personality can change through the interactionist approach, as opposed to just saying in a trait approach, well, Sir Chris Hoy, you're always an introverted character, so when you play sport you're going to be introverted, when you take the captaincy of Great Britain you'll be introverted. So it offers a contrast to that. Okay, make really good notes on these three theories. We're going to use them within class in different situations, and anything you don't understand, come see me in the office.